Hey guys, Courteaud here. Welcome to this month's property market update for Pukekohe. So the last few months I've been reporting that the property market here has been quite slow, and that's still the case to a certain extent. Those LVR changes that came into effect a few months ago have certainly had an impact on the market. Auction clearance rates were down as low as perhaps around 20%. And the days on market had increased, the average days on market, so properties were sitting around for a little bit longer. Had this massive influx of properties onto the market, so we had over 300 properties on the market. So what I've been saying for a while is that that dampening of the market has been the case in the last few years as well after these LVR changes. So the LVR changes have come into effect, the market's been soft towards the end of the year, and then it's picked up in the new year. So there's a couple of little things that I wanted to touch on. There are a few new pieces of data which have been released. One of those is from Statistics New Zealand, and that's that we've just had in November a new record level of migration set, so a record level of people entering the country. Of course that places further demand on the housing stock. Generally about 50 to 60% of people who come into the country settle in Auckland, so that of course further drives demand for property in Auckland. Another thing that's been released by the Reserve Bank is that some data around lending. So the lending in November was up significantly on the lending in October, so a large amount more lending is starting to occur. That's perhaps people finding ways around these LVR changes like they tend to do, saving up some extra money in order to make purchases, using the equity in their home to start organising finance around their next purchase. So I think perhaps there's a couple of little indicators there that the market is beginning to change a little bit, that perhaps these LVR rules, like they have been in the past, are causing a temporary slowdown, and that perhaps we might be seeing the start of that little pickup that's occurred the last few times they've made LVR changes. So looking at the statistics, according to REINZ statistics for Pukekohe, there were 44 sales for the last month. That's up on the 39 for the previous month. And looking at the average days on market, that's come down from 35 down to 30. So again, just perhaps a couple of little indicators there that the market is perhaps changing, perhaps picking up a little bit. At the moment we've got 289 properties on the market in Pukekohe, which is down on the 310 or so that we saw last month. That's to be expected at this time of year. People, not as many people are putting their property on the market because it's a hectic time of year. They don't want to be worrying about that while they're trying to have a break and have a holiday. So people tend to put the decision to list their property into next year. But those properties that are around, obviously a few of those will sell. So we see a little bit of a drop at this time of year. That's perfectly natural. And of course we would expect a little bit of an influx next year as people come back and they do begin to look at putting their property on the market. So that's it from me for this month. I think there's a couple of little pieces of data there that perhaps show that we might be starting to see the start of that little pickup that perhaps we've been expecting we might see. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens when we get back next year, when we all get back from holiday, see how the property market reacts. So yeah, I wish you all a really Merry Christmas, stay safe, and I'll see you all again next month. Cheers, bye.